Hello, my name is Michael Mauboussin, and I'm Managing Director, Global Investment Strategies at Credit Suisse. Today I'm going to discuss my book, Think Twice, published by Harvard Business Review Press. The basic theme behind the book is that when we're faced with certain types of situations, our minds want to go down one path when there's a better way to think about it. Let me give you a simple mathematical problem to illustrate the point. A bat and a ball together cost $1.10. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? If you're like most people, the first number that popped into your head, or the number that you answered, was 10 cents. But if you do the math, that's actually the wrong answer. The correct answer is 5 cents. So the point being is business people face these kinds of situations every day. Their minds lead them down one path when there's a better way to think about the situation. What Think Twice does is help you navigate that basic problem to come to the proper decisions. Most of the core ideas in the book go back to some ideas developed by Danny Kahneman on what's called System 1 versus System 2 thinking. System 1 is your experiential system. It's fast, it's automatic, but it sometimes makes mistakes. System 2 is your analytical system. It's slow, it's purposeful, but it can be trained. When we're faced with certain kinds of situations, System 1 basically dictates the answer when we need to recruit and employ System 2 to come up with the right way to think about the problem. The methodology I used to develop the book's findings was to scan the literature in psychology and social psychology to find those instances when our minds go down one path when it should go down a different path. There's some fascinating literature that came out of that. For example, asking the question, when should you trust your intuition and when should you not trust your intuition? Another really interesting thread is, when should we defer to experts? When do experts really know what's going on? And when should we be very careful about the opinions of experts? So that's really the methodology is based on solid academic research, but applied to current issues and current topics. I think this book is really important for HR practitioners because it puts the behaviors of the organization in proper context. There's a very famous idea in psychology called the fundamental attribution error, and it basically says when we observe behaviors of others, we tend to attach those behaviors to their characters. But in reality, what we know from psychology is the situation or the context is extraordinarily important. So one example is that of incentives. Obviously, HR folks help work on developing incentives to encourage certain types of behaviors. But there are cases where those incentives create unintended consequences, behaviors that are not exactly anticipated nor desired. So taking one step back and understanding the context of the organization, the context in which people make their decisions, can be very, very helpful to improve performance. I think this book can be helpful for all HR practitioners, but in particular talent management. When you think about the core theme behind Think Twice, there are really three ideas. One is what I call prepare, which is to learn about these situations where your mind goes down one path and you need to think about it a different way. So create a little Rolodex of these ideas. The second I call recognize, which is these are going to show up in different guises in different parts of your professional life. Learn to identify these situations and tag them appropriately. And the final thing, and most important, is apply. The book develops tools and techniques to manage and mitigate these types of mistakes in order to improve and to make more consistent the quality of your decisions. Another idea in this book that can be really helpful for HR is that of diversity. Typically, when we think of diversity, we think of social identity diversity, age, gender, ethnicity, those kinds of things. And those things are really important. But one of the key things this book stresses is the importance of cognitive diversity. People's training, their experience, their personalities. And when you're thinking about building teams and ultimately building a successful organization, what you're ultimately after is cognitive diversity. So that can be very helpful when you're thinking about how do we create that next committee, how do we hire people, and ultimately, how do we think about managing folks so as to aggregate and improve the cognitive diversity while still maintaining proper social diversity.